everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. I know I'm supposed to be retired from racing, but I just can't stay away. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be going out every Saturday night and going at it like I used to for years and years and years. But the season is opening, and the second night of the season is a 50-lapper for mini stocks, and this is a darn good car, and I want to be there for that. So we're going to get it ready, and we're going to take it out at least one time to the 50-lapper. And the way things are working out, you will probably be watching this video the night that we're at the track. It's the 27th of May, and it should probably be the 27th of May right now while you're watching this. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff to do to get this thing ready to go, so let's get started. First issue we've got is rubber. I've got two sets of wheels and tires for this thing. This is a set of Falcon 660s. This is the last set of tires that I ever bought for this. And we've been running these tires for about 3 seasons now. So, now, not every Saturday night, right? We raced, I think 5 nights one season, and then probably 3 or 4 nights the next season, and the same the season after. Something like that. Anyway, they've got maybe 10 or 12 nights on them. So, on the car, we've got just a junk set of old roll-around. These are old 615s. There's still life in them, but these things are just better. Anyway, I'll show you what we did. Like DW says, I'll take 4 Mr. Feelgoods, please. Thank you very much. And we got 2 new wheels for the right side because our old wheels, they got a couple little dings in them. It's easier just to get new wheels. First thing we got to do is get these ones off the car and get those ones on, because I need to reuse the left side rims at least, and we'll go from there. We got our old tire off. It's kind of a bear getting these extra load 50 series tires off of these 15-inch wheels on this old tire machine. But patience and lots of soap, and they come off. So what we're up against now here, you see we've got a little ding in the rim. Now, as tempting as it is to just grab a hammer and start wailing on it, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to just very gently pry it back up with our Claremont wrench here. And it takes a little... There we go, see? It moved a bit. We may have to beat on the actual edge of it a little bit just to get that back, but for the most part, you can pull that back up with the adjustable. There are tools you can buy that you roll around the wheel, and they'll straighten them up pretty nicely. But this, how we're doing it, works pretty well too. There, you can see there, it's straight across there now. So all we got to do is get our hammer and just ding that edge back in. And this rim is good like new. Loud, eh? There we go, good like new. Now, when we put the tire on, you got to watch the rotation of them because these are directional. See, the arrow is there going that way, so that's backwards. Don't want to put it on that way. We want to put it on this way because this is going on the left side of the car. So I'll get this thing lubed up, and we'll get her popped on and go from there. Now, getting these babies to seat on the rims is a whole nother adventure. Takes a bit of pressure to do that. And they go bang when they seat. There's the back side. There goes the compressor. We're up to 30 PSI and it still hasn't seated. You'll see it start to move when it gets around 40 and it'll go kaboom. No, we're past 40 now and it didn't seat, so I'm going to deflate it and we'll try again. Got it! Now, the right ones go together much easier. Or they usually do anyway. Now I got to put the valve stem in. These Bassett race wheels use the big one. Goes in from the back. That protects it, right? So when you're in combat on the speedway, it's hard to get your valve stem ripped off. it's also hard for somebody old like me to get that threaded into the tool. Okay, so once we got this thing threaded into the tool, what we do is, or what I do anyway, I just lay a hammer handle across there because there's nothing to pry on it. There we go. She's in. See, you can see there it's in nice and flat all the way around. It's not, you know, like half in. So we'll mount this puppy on the tire machine and we'll grab a tire. All right, we got our wheel on the machine and we got our tire up the way it needs to face. This is a right-hand wheel, so it's going to turn this way on the car. So we got the arrow pointing that way, not the other way like the last one I did and I had to take it back apart. Anyway, what are you going to do? It's old age. So, get lots of tire soap on this. These things are a real bugger to get on. They go on these wheels better than the road wheels, but it's still not fun. But I'll show you how we do it. Probably if I had a modern tire machine, it would just go boop, 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 and be on. But on this old gunboat, we struggle. Okay, so last check. Arrow pointing the right way. And this red dot, if that is facing kind of to the outside of the car, no, it'd be backwards on the other side. I don't know. Forget about the red dot. I think that just shows you you're probably supposed to match that up with the valve stem. But anyway, we're not going on the Indy 500. We're going to Peterborough Speedway. The car goes faster on the trailer than it goes on the track. Oh, man. No, you don't want to be in there. There's a big spider inside it. Hold everything. Okay, after all that excitement, our arrow is still pointing the right way. This side you can usually just... no, not quite. The last one I was able to just spin it on. See how fast the soap dries? I got to put a little more on. Because you don't want this thing digging into that wheel, or you'll never get it to slide up onto the bead. Okay, here we go. So what I do with this is I get it started and I grab one of these tire irons and I hold it over here. And I grab another tire iron and I hold it over there. And I usually get tire on the wheel. Now, because the valve stem is kind of around on the other side, we got to flip it over to blow it up. Nope. Hang on. Lost. I might have kicked it away. Hang on. Hold everything here. I think it come on. Okay, now let's see. It usually doesn't take as much air to seat these beads. The second left one I did on the stock wheel, I had to blow the tire up to 60 psi to get the bead to seat. Holy moly. What do we got here? Around 20. We're just waiting for this one. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Ah. Okay. And we'll blow it up to about 40, and that'll be good. Here you go. We got our 4 new weenies built up, and don't they ever look snazzy. Now that we got our tires built up, next thing we got to do is get the box back on the trailer, because once I start working on the race car, there's probably some parts in the, and all the parts unfortunately are on the back side of this box, which is shoved against the wall in the basement of the barn. So if I got to run over here and look for something, it's easier if the box is on the trailer. So we're going to do that now. And then I always end up the morning of the first race, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get the box on the trailer. Just how I operate, you know. It's just my way. Anyway, so we're going to buck tradition, and we're going to get the trailer all ready to go now. Unfortunately, my little tractor can't lift the box when it's full, so we got to empty it, put it on the trailer, and then fill it back up. It could be worse, I guess. Alrighty, here we go. It's a little bit of a temperamental operation, but well, I've done it many times, and so far I've gotten away with it. It's really windy today. It's my only worry. Yeah, I'm going to need both hands to do some fancy driving, so I'll see you once I'm up there. Well, there we are. The legs of it are mostly above the stake pockets. So we just got to very gently lower it down, and we'll get it in there. Let's see here. I got to pull forward a little bit. Alright, I got to manhandle it now, so I'll be back in a bit. Victory. We got the first leg started down its hole, so we just got to kind of jiggle and wiggle, and sometimes you got to whack it with a hammer here and there, but it goes right in. It went pretty well. Once it's dropped down in the pockets, we've got 4 hitch pins that hold it in, and I plug it in because I've got a set of tail lights up top here. And there's some compartment lights inside it. Now we can load it back up, and I'll probably go through some of the stuff because I can't remember all what I've got. I sold the one car. There may be stuff for the other car in here. I hope not. I hope I would have pulled it all out and given it to the guy, but you never know. I'll be finding little bits and pieces of it for a long time, and I'll just pass the stuff along to him as I do. Here we go. The box is on the trailer. She's packed away back at the barn. There's a couple more things I got to do. I've got to, my fluid jugs I carry, I got to fill them up. Oil, transmission fluid, gas and water. And there's a fender bracket on the back that's come unglued. But the weather's kind of threatening right now, so we'll save that for another day. But we'll get to it in due time. Next thing we're going to deal with here is my fender. You can see here we have a little problem with the fender brace here. Now this is a piece of 1.5 inch square tube. I don't have, but I've got lots of 1.5 inch round tube, and I'll show you why it doesn't really matter. All it does is give this fender something to sit on when it's down. So this is just as good as a square tube, maybe even better. So we'll cut that mess off, weld this on, and we'll be in good shape. This will come off pretty easily. There we go. And then we're going to get our grinder and get this all cleaned up, so we've got something clean to weld to. Then all we got to do is get this bracket off of here and weld it onto here. In fact, I may just get a new one. I've got lots of these things. That's probably actually the smarter thing to do. There's that all fixed up and back solid. Now we're going to get the handy dandy Claremont Classic Garage trailer tester out and see if the lights work. Right now I've lit up the parking lights, and we've got everything works except this one here. So we're going to have a look at it. I could see there the end of it is smashed, so I'm guessing that this one is roached. But anyway, we'll get it off of there and see what we can find out. There we are, a little light working again. There was a bad connection in the wiring up underneath, so we got that fixed up, and she's good. One of our backup lights doesn't work, and the land of almost fits has struck again. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to give these wheels a turn and make sure the hubs and bearings and everything feel fine. Give them a jiggle like that to make sure there's no excessive play in them. That one's good. This one's good. Beautiful. Sometimes I'll rotate the tires on it, but I just did a major service on this thing not too long ago, and it just hasn't gotten any miles on it since. So we're just going to leave well enough alone with that. And now what we'll do is we'll check the brakes. There's two things we have to check. First thing, on our trailer tester, I can just apply the brakes full. Make sure they bang, bang. Brakes are on. Then what we'll do, oh, you heard them release? Then while they're still up, we'll pull the brake away and make sure they dynamite. Good. And also, just as important is when you put the key back in the breakaway, they need to release. Yeah, they released. Now we'll just put the torque wrench and make sure all our wheel nuts are tight. Now we're going to check our tire pressures here. Adjust them all so they're the same. These are load range C, so they run at 50 psi. So that's what we're putting in them. Next thing I have to do is check my gear. You have to make sure these helmets, they fall apart. I don't know how, but so I'm going to just get some tools and make sure all of these things are tight. That's job one. So we're going to go around and make sure all the fasteners on our helmet are tight. Good. And we'll check, I think there might be some fasteners on this thing. Yeah, just some screws. That sets the width of it. So we'll just grab a screwdriver and make sure those are tight. The last thing you want is your gear to fall apart at the track, because look, see, when it falls apart in the car, believe me, this has happened to me. I've spent hours in there looking for a tiny little screw, and it's usually in there, but you got to look for it. Once we've got all this stuff, we've made sure everything is tight, we go ahead and for me anyway, the easiest thing to do is I attach this to the helmet and then put the whole works on as what I like to refer to as a whole effing thing. So here we go. Make sure my head hasn't gotten any fatter over the winter. This is very complicated for a guy like me. Should see the helmets we used to wear when we were doing demo derbies. Oh, those were the days. Okay, now I'll get in and get all the belts on and make sure we're not going to have any problem with any stuff like that. Because the racetrack is not the place to have those kind of problems. Okay, let's see what we got here. There we go. All good. I can put this stuff away. It's all ready to go for Saturday night. Now we got to make sure we got all our stuff. we got our toolbox, full set of mechanics tools in there. Here's our tow plates and everything we need for checking the tow on the car. We've got our jack, a pair of stands, so that's good. Everything is all set here. And the back side of the toolbox, you already saw on one side I got my safety gear, and there's a couple of bins of spare parts, funnels, air hoses, stuff like that. Over here you can see we've got a spare set of wheels and tires. Behind the tires there's a radiator, a pair of axle shafts for the front, and this is very important. For us guys that run power steering in our cars, I use a 15-inch wheel in the car. This is a 17 or a 17 and a half, probably from an old dirt car. And I always keep this with me because in case the power steering ever fails, you need a big steering wheel to manhandle that car around. And I've used it one time. I blew a steering hose, and I put this on and made it through the rest of the night. This is our chemical row in here. So I've just got the motor oil, transmission fluid, and all the chemicals we need to keep the car going, car cleaning stuff. And this is very important if you race at Peterborough Speedway, mosquito spray. And in here, we got a tow strap. And this is just the stuff for the trailer, the jack and the lug wrench and everything for the trailer itself. Now, in the truck, I don't carry too much stuff in the truck because everything is pretty much self-enclosed in the hauler. The only thing I don't have room for in the hauler is the compressor and the generator, so they live in the truck. Sometimes we tow the race car with the RV, and it's got a generator and a compressor built into it, so I don't have to haul these. So anyway, let's see. We'll give this thing, I should see if there's any oil in it first. And not that. Hang on. These got a good service last year, and we only used them a couple of times, so we'll just make sure they're okay. And yeah, lots of oil in that. The compressor, if I believe, it's got a sight glass on it, so I'll check that. Yeah, there it is down there. It's good. Okay, so let's see if this thing will crank up. Fuel on. Choke. Ignition. That went well, all is good. The only other stuff we carry in the truck, I've always got my booster pack with me. That saved my butt one time already. And I've got a box with spare straps and stuff for the trailer. And we have an air pig and some tarps in case it gets wet. Well, here's our last little job. We're going to run up to the corner and give the truck trailer combo a test drive and get our fuel. Got the car loaded on the trailer. We're all good. See you when we get back. Well, that all went well. I guess I'll shut her down now. Once I got home, I put everything away. I took the car back off the trailer, put it in the shop, just if I get any last minute thoughts of, stuff I want to check or fiddle around with in between now and race day. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you'll come back and see us again. And until then, this is Kevin saying so long from the Claremont Classic Garage.